It was about somewhere in 1999.
Yeah.
I was cutting hair at Ken Du's barbershop, and Big B's Studios building had just came on the market, and Ken Lawrence told me, you need to meet my boy Lou Masella. We met at the property on Main Street, showed me the property, went back to the office at some point, put in an offer, didn't get the building, became friends right then and there, kind of.
Yeah.
Lori and I were talking about wanting to sell the house. Decided to have Lou come out to list the house. So he came out on his listing appointment. You always say that you didn't have a briefcase. But I'm telling you, you had a briefcase at that appointment.
I had a real nice briefcase. I had a lock on it. Brought my files over. Had my listing presentation all put together.
Mr. Professional.
Mr. Professional. Did a great listing presentation, evaluation of the house, price evaluation. Sold my services. We were ready to
rock and roll.
Get this house on the market.
And then somebody told me, you can go up. You got all that land, but it was like, I think that's going to be a better idea, Lou. So I think we're going to stay here at the house. But I liked how you presented yourself, and something drew me to that professionalism. I actually had to become a realtor, and he told me how to become a realtor. I went in the house that day and called Poley and Associates, and 3 months later, I had my real estate license.
And that was in 2000.
That was in 2000.
Yep. I was working at Century 21 Alliance.
Century 21 Alliance.
At the time in Audubon.
Came to Alliance and totally didn't know what the heck I was doing or what I had gotten into, but I did have me a nice, beautiful briefcase. And Lou mentored me for the next, 2-3 years, really, in the real estate business. Lou was the top producer, either for 1 or 2, behind Sue DeChambeau every year that we were there.
Yeah.
I remember just sitting outside of your office in the cube a lot of times, listening to what he was saying, how he was handling clients, watching how he did things. And that's how I learned. First 3 or 4 or 5 transactions, every time I met a client, you helped me with the client. And then I remember when you were ready to let me go. I called him up and was like, I'm going to meet this client. You were like, you can't do this on your own yet?
I think eventually you got a gold jacket.
Eventually I got
I
got a gold jacket, became a top producer after about 3 years in the office.
You always kind of go back in time and think about where you learned certain things about your career and how to do things. And so that office really taught me the professionalism, how important education was, knowing the contracts, representing your client at the highest level. The environment too. We had a great environment there.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
It was a family environment. So taking that further into our careers, really that professionalism piece, and then the importance of environment and people.
One of the things that we try to really focus in on here is mentorship. And I think that has a lot to do with the way that I was mentored. You speak to that professionalism. We talk about that all the time here. 80% of the people that get their license are out of the business in the first year. I think that's because of lack of mentorship. So I really appreciated the mentorship that I had, from not only you, but that office was a good place to learn.
And then fast forward a number of years, transitions in our businesses, right? Transitioning into a more independent, type of business model for me, like Remax. Spending 6 years there, you developing a team, eventually heading over to Keller Williams, and then me going into a management role for 4 years. Just kind of honing our skills. And finding where our sweet spots and what we really enjoyed most about what we do.
We made a connection at Century 21, so even though you left and went to Remax, we still did things together. We enjoyed sports and remained friends. And then after the Keller Williams, when I went to Keller Williams for a little while, and you were at Coldwell Banker, I forget how it happened exactly, but we started having the conversation about we need to do our own thing. We were talking about it for at least a couple of years. We're both people of faith, and we now know that God was guiding and directing our steps there, because I ended up selling a property in Berks County, a place that I don't normally sell, 102 Constitution Ave. And the listing agent was also the regional director for Realty One Group. I got a call from Greg and someone else. We started looking into Realty One Group, but Didn't really bite on the first one because just timing.
Timing.
And then 6 months later, they reached back out, took the meeting. That's when I called Lou, and Lou, Lori, and myself went out to Lancaster and sat down and really looked at this model.
Yeah, I remember that meeting very clearly to this day. Seems like it was yesterday. Greg was going over the comp plan, going over the marketing and the branding and
Technology.
I remember thinking, so, what's the tech stuff look like? Because that seems to be pretty important. People really want that. They focus on that. Companies are offering that. What's that tech stuff look like? He rolled out the whole tech platform and just blew my mind. And everything that an agent would need to operate their business from a technology perspective, Realty One Group offered. Everything that they would need from a environment perspective, from a training perspective, culture, coaching. And then you just layer on the commission. It was a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
It was a no-brainer for us.
So we went back home and we started putting the business plan together, and we signed a franchise agreement in August of 2018. And we started planning the grand opening. We were working out of my garage. We just started kind of looking really into what we had just done, and remember looking over at you in the shop and saying, man, we're going to change a lot of people's lives with this model.
Mm-hmm. And fast forward 5 years later, and we have, this model has.
But here we are today with 3 offices, over 150 agents, offices in Collegeville, which we're sitting in right now, Bluebell, and Conshohocken.